So this is very worrying for people, for every citizen of the country, if you get into difficulty. As you know, the Irish Air Corps usually go out to people who are in accidents, they for example serious accidents, who need to be brought to hospital as quick as possible, because we don't really have an air ambulance. It's the defence forces who do that, bringing people to hospital. If people in need, take bad, in the back end, the defence forces helicopter is usually the one that goes to pick them up and bring them to hospital. And not even that too, if there's a security situation, take for example what we've seen a few months ago off the coast of our shores, where a cargo ship carrying hundreds of tons of cocaine, they needed to bring the Irish Rangers, the special elites of the Irish Army, onto it, and the helicopters were used for that. Obviously unarmed, of course, but in military use. But basically now, and the same with the unarmed civilian aircraft they use too, pretty much we're only be able to operate 5-day week from literally next week on, because they literally can't get people in the control tower of the Air Corps to basically monitor the skies and stuff like that, and to keep them, keep in touch with the ground pretty much when they're in the air. So pretty much it's going to take probably another, as they say here, it's going to take years before this is ever sorted. So unfortunately that means pretty much it'll be probably a 5-day week, so pretty much 2 days of the week they won't be the Air Corps won't be able to fly pretty much. That's pretty much what this means. That pretty much to be in the home airport gathering dust for 2 days. So take for example, a really emergency situation could arise, and they simply couldn't be able to send anybody up, because it's only a 5-day week now. Now obviously this is only going to get worse from here. Everybody can tell you, everybody can see this. So probably next year, by the time next year comes around, it'll probably be only 2 days a week. But it's a serious threat to the state, not only a serious threat to national security of the state, also a threat to people's lives too, because say for example somebody takes bad, there's no helicopter, you can't send anybody up, because the reason why, because there's no air traffic control in the home base in southwest Dublin. And obviously we know the Air Corps, the people that, I don't blame the people, they're saying about the civilian, because these are civilians that are in the tower. This is the air base here, the tower, looking after the Air Corps. So as you see, the trainer aircraft, like the military have its own kind of I suppose home base, and traffic control tower pretty much, and pretty much it's civilians, but they are paid obviously by the military, like they are air traffic control qualified people. They're not military personnel, they're civilians, but employed by the Irish Defence Forces. And to be totally honest, they're moving on to jobs in civilian airlines, like Ryanair or Aer Lingus, because there's better paying conditions, to be totally honest, in that, because what they're getting pretty much for the job they have to do too, and for the hours they have to do, because there's only a few of them, there isn't that many of them. I think there's only about maybe, I think at one stage 15, like in different ships, but I think there's only about now 6 or 7, give or take, because there's another 6 leaving this year, and they can't find replacements. But yeah, so it's a huge threat to the security of the state. Not even that, to the health of the citizens of the state is a huge threat too. Now, we probably remember this too. This was back about 2 years ago, 2021, geez, a long time ago at this stage. But I remember this like yesterday. So this is the door of the Air Corps helicopter here. This is that door. And they were transporting the patient to the hospital. And the door fell off. Thanks for the God it didn't hit anybody. Because if this would have hit anybody, it would have killed them. Or if it fell on the car, it would have killed the person in it. But thankfully it didn't. But the problem happened here with the door is, the big problem in the Air Corps at the moment, and since 2021, is they couldn't get people to maintain the planes and the helicopters. What I mean by that, obviously a lot of work needs to go in to maintain the doors and to maintain the aircraft, because you can't just fly a helicopter without maintaining it. And obviously it's a huge amount of money, of course. But not even that, there's used to have loads of engineers in the Air Corps who used to be able to do fixes and do maintenance on the helicopter, make sure it's working. And obviously, along with the air control tower, there's nobody pretty much doing in the Air Corps now, because the simple fact is, and the reason why they're all leaving, they're going to the civilian airlines, because there's more money in it. They're getting pretty much rabbit feed for it, because there is long hours and there's a lot of work. But thankfully, nobody was injured. But again, that's the reality on the ground of the Air Corps. So it's pretty much a very bad state of affairs. Pretty much very, very bad state of affairs in all regards, because as it says here. It's critical. It's really critical service, but it's insane. It came to this, and again, this could take years, as they say, and it probably will, unfortunately. we'd probably be sitting here for another 3 or 4 years waiting for this to be sorted, to get something sorted. But the only really solution is here, if you pay the people who are civilian people a very good wage, because this is a very hard job. It isn't an easy job being an air traffic controller, particularly for the military, and particularly that something could happen, and you never know what could happen. You can't predict it in the military. Take for example, if there's a bad accident in County Roscommon or something like that, straight away the army helicopter needs to be dispatched and stuff like that. This basically you can't predict compared to civilian aircraft. You know when the flight's leaving, when it's coming in, roughly. In the military, things could happen. In the middle of the night, you only get 10 minutes notice maybe that it could happen. You have to be always on the alert, always ready to move. So and they should be getting more. And the same with the technicians, the same with even the pilots, the people who are bringing the patients in. They should be all getting more. The members of the Defence Force, they should be getting more, because the people who are at the top of the Defence Force, the Chief of Staff, etc., is on €200,000 a year. The Minister of Defence, Simon Howes, is on hundreds of thousands a year. The people on the ground should be getting it, really. If the people at the top shouldn't be getting it, but the people on the ground that's actually doing the hard work and seeing, let's be fair, these people who are in the Air Corps helicopters have seen very traumatic scenes and accidents and stuff, and have had to deal with people who are seriously ill, particularly children in some cases too. It's not an easy job. It's not something that you can go home in the evening and leave it at the door. It's something that stays with you, and that's the thing. And I don't think they get enough appreciation. I don't think the Army and the Defence Force, even the Navy and the whole sections of the Army here, don't get enough appreciation from the Irish people and from the state too. It's definitely from the state. But I don't think we appreciate them enough, and especially these people, because again, God knows how many people they've saved over the last 10 years. If it'd be immeasurable the amount of people they have saved. It could be 4,000 or 5,000 citizens they have saved because they were quick on the scene and got them to the hospital in time. Again, it's immeasurable. We would never know that figure, but it's definitely a few hundreds, if not thousands. But it's truly a sad state of affairs. I'm sure we would all agree. But hopefully it'll be sorted soon, as I say. Because not only is it a national security threat, it's a threat to the citizens of this country, its health and well-being. So let me know what you think, subscribe more, and bye.